Hi folks, so for those of you who are new to my channel, this is part 3 of an environmental data logging experiment for 2 garden plots at Mission Gardens in Tucson, Arizona. In this video, I'll go over the design and print of a 3D model for a radiation shield for hosting a temperature humidity sensor, but first a little background. As summarized in prior videos, this homebrew alternative performs rather well when checked against an identical sensor in a formal Davis radiation shield. However, the approach of using painted plastic plates leaves a little to be desired in terms of heat and UV tolerance. In response, I consulted with an instructor at my local community college, and he recommended I 3D print my own shield using ASA filament engineered for UV and high temperature resistance. As a side note, he recommended ASA over ABS since, in his experience, ASA holds up better to stress fractures. At the time, I happened to be taking a course in SolidWorks, which is a computer-assisted design platform used to design engineering features like my radiation shield. For one of my assignments, I designed an assembly based on the instructable model used for my first build, using 3 variations of this plate, which can be printed in ASA. This is a fairly simple model designed from a revolved drawing where I took care to specify dimensions that would work well with my 3D printer. For starters, I set the radius of my plates to be just under 210 millimeters, which maximizes the size of the shield within the constraints of my printer's build plate. Since the nozzle of my printer extrudes filament at a diameter of 0.4 millimeters, I set the walls of the plate to be multiples of the same, coming in at 2 millimeters. This also allows the draft setting layer height of 0.2 millimeters to fit evenly within the plate thickness. For the angles on the plate, I set my overhang to be greater than 45 degrees to prevent the need for supports during printing, which adds to time and materials with negligible benefit. Finally, I made variations of the plates for the assembly which can be easily stacked in any custom configuration I may wish to use for my field deployment. Once I was satisfied with the assembly, I accepted the default settings for the STL export in SolidWorks and created 4 STL files which can be imported into my 3D printing software for writing the G-code that will be used for printing. I imported each plate individually into Ultimaker Cura, which is free software for customizing settings for my filament and printer. Here you can see I brought up the generic ASA filament setting for a draft quality print. I then checked the recommended extruder and bed temp for my ASA filament and cross-referenced against the draft print settings that Ultimaker defaults to for this material. Both the layer height and width match what I anticipated for my nozzle and model design, but after some trial and error, I modified the extruder and bed temperatures to be set to 260 and 110 degrees Fahrenheit respectively. Because my printer is located in an unheated workshop, I was still having a lot of issues with bad prints, in particular with my plate becoming dislodged from the printer bed. My professor suggested that cold ambient temperatures were most likely causing the print to fold and lose adhesion. In response, I welded some scrap metal to build a frame that could be used to hang a blanket around my printer, thus helping to insulate my print from cold winter evenings. This might have been a bit of overkill since others suggested just surrounding the printer with cardboard would do the trick, but I wanted something that would be a little more reliable over the long haul. A friend at ZeroCraft also recommended adding a brim to my print, which in turn helps with build plate adhesion. With this final edit, I gave it one last shot and was pleasantly surprised to see my first completed plate ready for assembly. The plates assemble relatively easily using M4 threaded rods, preferably no more than 120 millimeters in length for the model I'm sharing. I then went through the process of attaching my sensor to a header on a quarter-size Adafruit protoboard and welding a watertight connector to the same in order to help keep things modular. I added heat-proof electrical tape to assist with strain relief and then attached the protoboard to the appropriate mounting plate for my radiation shield assembly. With the M4 rods in hand, it's then just a matter of stacking the plates in order of preference using spacers, washers, and nuts to clamp the whole assembly together, adding the other half of my watertight connector. and then attaching the assembly to some kind of anchor which will subsequently be welded or attached to a stand. I also added a little more tape for strain relief and then hooked up the sensor to my data logger for testing. Okay folks, I've got my new radiation shield with my new HDC sensor hooked up to these little terminal blocks, which is resting on the power rail down below. I'm going to turn the sensors on, and now I'm going to turn the data logger on. And if everything was wired correctly, I should see some data on the screen. Let's see what happens. There's my new screen. And there you go, right on. Just a reminder that if I'm seeing data on this screen, it means the data logger has successfully gone through all its sensor and SD card initializations and is now writing data. In a future video, I'll summarize how I addressed the 6-foot sensor wire limitation on my sensor placement relative to the data logger, which you may recall I was having issues with in my pilot installation. And just a final postscript, if you're interested in this kind of stuff, these are 2 courses that are taught at Pima Community College here in Tucson, Arizona that I highly recommend. If you get an opportunity, take these from Joe Brown. He's an excellent instructor. I've had really good luck with him. And note that the additive manufacturing or 3D printing class begins in March, so you still have time to register for that if you're interested. Subscribe for updates, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you.